Hi, welcome to Steve Chats Wrestling right here on youtube.com. Make sure to like the video, please subscribe to the channel, leave your comments in the comment section. It's time for the Fast Lane review. The road to WrestleMania is fully in force now, and a mixed show. Some good spots, some high spots. Some matches were better than expected, but of course there was a little bit of strange booking in places and perhaps a little bit disappointment with a couple of extra things added into the card. Mainly Curtis Axel versus R-Truth should more be on main event than it should ever be on a pay-per-view. But we're going to go into the event now. First start with a pre-show. Paul Heyman saying that he was hoping that the former Shield members would team up Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns to try and take out Brock Lesnar, because then they would have to divide and conquer. The Beast would have to divide and conquer once these guys realise that they have to then beat each other once they take the Beast out of the equation, and this would lead the Beast to actually get in the victory at the end of the show. So yeah, it was a very strong promo from Paul Heyman, and it just goes to show that he goes from strength to strength when talking up the Beast. We had Marlo Ronaldo on commentary with Byron Saxton and JBL for the pre-show match, which was the US title. Was Kalisto versus Del Rio, 2 out of 3 falls. Now this was the best match these two have had. It was a great storytelling in the match, although it was kind of a standard 2 out of 3 falls match. Normally with the heel taking the DQ loss in the first fall and then to win the second fall. But no, it was executed very well, and the guys had a couple of botches in the match, but on the whole, I think this was a lot better than the previous efforts they've done on WWE programming. Well, Kalisto won the first one, as I say, with Del Rio using a chair on the outside. This led to Del Rio destroying Kalisto before getting him back into the ring, throwing him against the guardrails, all 4 corners. Got back into the ring, did the double stomp from the second rope, which led to a quick second fall for a Del Rio win. Both went for their finishers for the third fall, and it led to Kalisto nailing a schoolboy victory for the 2 out of 3 falls win. United States champion still Kalisto, and as I say, I think it was a decent match and a great way to kick off and end the pre-show and get us into Fastlane. Mauro Ranallo sadly was not staying on the commentary table. I think he was brilliant on the commentary team with JBL and Byron Saxton. Still though, I think JBL lets the side down a little bit. I think it would be better with the SmackDown team actually hosting everything, even though I know Jerry Lawler probably isn't up to doing 3 hours live commentary anymore. But yeah, we had Michael Cole, JBL and Byron Saxton on commentary for the main show. We started with Sasha and Becky Lynch versus Team Bad. They played on the lack of teamwork with Sasha and Becky from the start of the match, but they overcome everything to get the win. There was a double submission. Sasha and Tamina were the legal people. It was the bank statement for the win, but the disarmer was on Naomi from Becky Lynch at the same time, both divas tapping out. So it was quite a good start to the show. Kind of a standard tag team match, and sort of thing you would expect to see on Raw. It was okay, nothing spectacular. We're going to move on next to Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. The IC title was a back and forth match. It seemed to be sweet chin music. The musical, really, it was a lot of those sort of kicks done in the match from both superstars. The match was decent, but again, nothing special what we haven't already seen on Raw before. They've wrestled about 7 out of the last 14, 15 Raws in one-on-one competition, so it wasn't anything different or special, but the match was still solid, and Kevin Owens came out with the victory. One more switch in music was done, or was attempted by Dolph Ziggler. Owens moved out of the way, almost caught the referee, but he stopped in the last second. This allowed the distraction enough for Kevin Owens to get the advantage and land the powerbomb for the win. Kevin Owens moving on to WrestleMania. The next match was the Wyatt family, was Braun Strowman, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan versus Show, Kane and Ryback. Now, surprisingly, the Wyatts lost. I thought it was going to be a build-up for Braun Strowman to move him on towards WrestleMania. It was going to be the way forward. But no, the faces came good. The first half of the match was tedious to watch, very boring. Once the hot tag was made, Ryback and Big Show were in the match, and Ryback was looking hot in the match, although he almost botched one of his high knees on the turnbuckle. A great spot from the match that I really enjoyed actually was the Big Show lifting up Luke Harper, throwing him out of the ring to land on top of Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman. Almost sort of thing you'd expect from a lightweight match almost, but done with the big guys was pretty cool. But Ryback picking up the win for the faces, landing shell shock on Luke Harper. Looked like it was slightly botched sort of finish as well, but hopefully Luke Harper is not hurt from the shell shock. There was a backstage interview with Roman Reigns. Nothing will be the same after tonight. His life is on the line and everything is thrown out the window. He will be the last man standing and winner. Dino interrupts and agrees that nothing will be the same. There's a one road now to WrestleMania for one, and one will be hitching looking for a ride. But he said that he's already booked his ticket on Priceline, which got a big pop from the crowd. But Roman said that you must beat me first before you can start thinking about anything like that. Once brought up about the Brock Lesnar, the Beast is also in the match. Dean Ambrose said that the Brock isn't winning, and Roman got booed throughout the end of this speech when he said he was going to win. Believe that. It was a strong backstage promo. It was pretty decent, but it goes to show the way the fans were feeling, that people were not behind Roman Reigns to win this match. It's just a shame, really, that we'll go into it later on, but it seems that WWE still doesn't always listen to its audience. We next had Charlotte versus Brie Bella. They kind of played on a Daniel Bryan kind of feel with this match, which was probably the right way to go. It almost felt like it was the Divas, but it was almost as if it was Daniel Bryan versus Ric Flair, if that was like a dream match almost. They were playing on the yes movement, playing on the woos. Brie Bella had like his leg pads on during this match, so it was kind of very Daniel Bryan-esque. The moves as well, the yes lock as well was used, and this was used towards the finish of the match, the yes lock, which was then transferred into a half leg Boston Crab. This match was pretty decent, by the way. I should throw that out there for a Divas match, and Brie Bella as well actually really did well in the match. For a lot of people that probably don't think she can compete in the ring, this is definitely worth a watch if you feel that, and you'll be surprised how well she did in the match. But of course she had an injured leg throughout the match. She did the dropkick off the top rope, hurt the leg, so whilst in this half Boston Crab, she tried to manoeuvre this leg, but unfortunately she kind of lost weight on it. This allowed Charlotte to get out of the move, power herself out, put in the figure eight and get the submission victory. But it was a decent match on the whole. Next, we're going to look for AJ Styles versus Y2J. Now, this was a masterclass, 5-star match from top to bottom. Really enjoyable. The finish came through with AJ Styles winning the match. A Styles clash, which was kicked out by Jericho, which then landed into the calf crusher for the submission victory. And Jericho sold the calf crusher really, really well as well. Honestly, if you have 15-20 minutes spare, make sure you do see this match, definitely. For me, it's up there with the match of the night. For me, it really was a top moment on the card. There was a stare down at the end of the match, like they might fight again, but it turned out it was a level of respect, a handshake between Jericho and Styles to look like it closes the end of the chapter of that feud. Now, the next bit was a little bit strange, was the Cutting Edge Peep Show. Edge and Christian introducing the New Day. Now, Edge and Christian seemed right up for it, really happy to be in front of the crowd. Some excellent puns that were used and comments in the segment, but it kind of was a segment, unfortunately, that didn't really go anywhere in the end. It kind of felt like it was there to promote their show on the network, and it seems like that it's going to be a New Day versus League of Nations, perhaps, feud going somewhere. I mean, there was a lot of slanging match going back and forth between Edge and Christian and the New Day, which led to the New Day saying they were the best tag team, that they'd beaten everybody, and they kind of got to the League of Nations, who they haven't faced, said that they were rubbish and they were not in their league at all. This led them to League of Nations coming out. The New Day said that they are going to turn the other cheek. They're not involved or would want to get involved to say things to their face. They went to go up to the ramp. Edge and Christian then started being a little bit cheeky once again, but the League of Nations said that they would actually threaten them and that they would actually beat up Edge and Christian. Christian said, look, it's not our time anymore. We understand that. We're going to leave the ring. And Edge said, well, how about we give 5 seconds of flash photography that we're going to for ourselves for the dumbasses in the ring. It got a big pop from the crowd, and as they went to do that, they seemed to team up with the New Day, because the New Day then kind of was like, oh, we really like that. But when we said we're going to turn the other cheek, unfortunately, we're going to turn for the booty, and quite hideously shaking their tissues on screen once again with the New Day rocks, or watch our show, as Christian would say about their show on the network. For me, the segment was not needed in the show. It would have been much better if you'd had a match in the show. I mean, Rusev and Sheamus weren't even fighting. They could have been fighting the New Day anyway. But it seems that it could be a start to a build towards WrestleMania. Next was Curtis Axel versus R-Truth. R-Truth noticing that it was 4 people out there against him. Goldust trying to come out to even out for the Golden Truth. This should not be on a pay-per-view. It was a waste of time. And also the strange booking once again. Goldust comes to the aid, but throws Adam Rose into the ring, which happened to R-Truth lose his balance and then got put up for a schoolboy for the 3 count. Curtis Axel gets the victory. So it seems there's still dissension in the ranks with the Golden Truth potentially happening. We'll have to see if it works out on WWE TV. This follows with the main event, and this actually was another fantastic match. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar. Brock is a beast. Started off the match just amazing. You know, I think Michael Cole said it's a perverse joy to watch Brock Lesnar. You could see that for most of the crowd. The Suplex City was in full force, suplexing everybody in sight. Eventually, Ambrose and Reigns got themselves together to powerbomb not once but twice through the announce table to Brock Lesnar, which was great. And this then meant they could turn on each other. The first time Dean turned on Roman, the second time Roman on Dean, was absolutely brilliant. This led to eventually Brock getting back into the match when a Samoan drop was going to be hit from Roman to Dean. Led to another suplex where he suplexed both men whilst holding that move. It was incredible to watch. This then left Brock and Reigns in the ring. Brock hitting the Kamara lock. It looked like he was going to get the submission, although Reigns then looked like he was going to try and break out of it, but still couldn't break out of it. Dean Ambrose comes into the ring, hits both superstars with a chair multiple times, knocking Brock Lesnar out of the ring. He was the guy he attacked second with the chair, well, first initially, then Reigns, then back with Brock. As he turned back from Brock, walked straight into a spear, and unfortunately led to a 3 count to boos in the arena as sort of predicted. Now the Wyatts were not involved in this match. It looks like there's going to be a change of direction. Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt no longer going to happen at WrestleMania, so all those rumours that were going around beforehand seems to be taken off the table. Perhaps it was seen as too predictable by many fans. Still though, we kind of had the predictable outcome. Brock was there to look strong, Roman was there to win, Dean was there to get pinned. Unfortunately, that was the way it turned out. The show finished with Triple H coming out to the ring and the stare down with Reigns and Triple H with the build-up to WrestleMania. So that is the show overall of WWE Fastlane at 2016. Personally, as I say, I think the show had its strong points. I think it had its weak points as well. But it's perhaps worth a watch if you have a spare bit of time on your hands. But definitely between the AJ Styles clash and the main event, skip all of that. You're not missing anything for half an hour there. But what were your thoughts of the event? Did you enjoy Fastlane? Do you think they should do Fastlane next year? Do you think they should go back to Elimination Chamber or No Way Out? What are your feelings on the pay-per-view? Let me know in the comments section. Please subscribe to the channel. You've been watching Steve Judge Wrestling right here on YouTube.